Hello, my name is Joanna Romero. Along with my project partner Chris Richardson, we present this narrated internal and external analysis report for Management 590 class on our chosen firm, Tesla. Chris and I are consultants hired by the Tesla Board of Directors to research and analyze Tesla Inc. with a fresh outside perspective and identify today's key problems facing Tesla. Tesla is an American automotive and clean energy firm and a world leader in the electric vehicle or EV industry in sales. Having the highest market valuation in the auto industry, Tesla is a vertically integrated EV automaker from design to sale. Today, its differentiation business level strategy is focused on introducing more EV models to reach broader customer target segments with sales around the globe. Tesla's global vehicle sales increased 50% from 2018 to 2019, and in 2020, the company surpassed the 1 million mark of electric cars produced. The Model 3 ranks as the world's all-time best-selling plug-in electric car with more than 500,000 cars delivered. Tesla is not only relying on fast, sexy sports cars, but seeks to expand into more market segments with the introductions of its new truck in 2021 and many more models following. Their robust R&D program in engineering and design keeps Teslas ahead of the competition. Employing their multi-billion-dollar gigafactories in the US, Europe, and China have helped them achieve aggressive production goals. Tesla leads the competition with an emphasis on developing new advances in battery technology and its novel direct sales model disrupting traditional automotive dealership sales practices. Tesla operates in a complex business environment with a web of external segments influencing its strategies and tactics. These external segments are powerful forces that must be understood and analyzed to capitalize on certain trends and avoid pitfalls coupled with other trends. Going green is no longer a fad, but a driving global force supported by consumers and governments around the world. The obvious sustainability features of EVs does not only reduce an individual's carbon footprint, but allows customers to show to others the important social signals that they are active participants on the environmental causes. Governments that regulate air quality are anxious to quickly introduce more EVs into the fast lanes with sales tax incentives. Although it's too early to declare that fossil fuel-powered cars are obsolete with less than 5 million of the world's vehicles being electric in 2019, the green energy behind EVs will accelerate EV demands for years to come, with an estimate of EVs reaching over 200 million vehicles by 2035. Although EVs share the basic automotive systems and parts of traditional automakers, EV production requires battery systems. These battery systems are undergoing intense competition for technological improvement, sourcing of basic components materials, and scaling for large production. Battery technology includes proprietary intellectual property that affects efficiency and performance, as well as cost control in the hands of its owners. The sourcing of batteries extends to global factories and partners who are racing for the competitive advantages offered by leaderships in both R&D and production. As EV production explodes globally, the demand for EV technology and parts increases the pressure on supply chains. Trade treaties and tariff wars have a direct impact on the global supply chain, especially for factories in foreign soil. This competition opens opportunities for partners with other firms in R&D production and supply chain management. The pace of technology is rapidly advancing as EV makers seek to come to market first with the best batteries. The battery that charges fastest, lasts longest, thus the most powerful, gives an EV maker a competitive advantage. Innovation in technology requires investments in expensive research and development. In turn, the race for battery improvements by many firms increase the demand for the right human resources in engineering and computer science. The future of EV depends on advances in technology, because customers will be drawn to the most efficient and effective battery. Wall Street investors are no longer satisfied with high valuations of tech firm stocks based on growing market shares with no profits to show for it. Investors are demanding even growing funds to show bottom line profits rather than billion-dollar deficits. This focus on profit conflicts with growing manufacturing firms like Tesla that need cash for multi-billion-dollar gigafactories as well as their high level of R&D. This trend is changing. Investor risk is important for a firm valuation and its access to capital. Governments have subsidized the sale of EVs to its citizens to jumpstart the reduction of fossil fuel vehicles in order to reach air quality goals and reduce the carbon footprints that contribute to the global warming. For example, the US government has been subsidizing electric vehicles, EVs, to the tune of $7,500 tax credit for every electric vehicle sold. China, India, and the European government also subsidize EVs through indirect and direct subsidies. We have applied Porter 5 Force model to analyze the competitive intensity in the EV industry. This method helps evaluate the attractiveness of an industry in terms of profitability. A large part of the buyers in the automotive industry are the small individual customers purchasing single vehicles, although corporations and governmental agencies also purchase fleets of vehicles. The competition in the automotive industry has grown, changing consumer trends that lead to higher bargaining powers, positioning them to bargain for lower prices. Whether a small or large buyer, consumers can easily switch between brands for a minimal cost or use alternative modes of transportation, making the bargaining power of buyers medium to strong for EVs. EV makers have the same bargaining power for basic automotive parts such as glass and tires, but face stronger bargaining power for suppliers of the critical EV parts. Why? Because of the high quality of parts required and because the EV market still is in its development. Therefore, there is a limited number of high-level suppliers for such components such as batteries, making the bargaining power of suppliers in the EV industry medium to strong. New entrants need a high level of capital requirements and must address the R&D requirements for constant technological demands changes. Also, comply with strict regulatory standards for safety and environmental concerns. Design, branding, and image are also barriers for new entrants. Nevertheless, traditional automakers nor new entrants into the EV market are being deterred by these high obstacles. So, it may seem counterintuitive to know that the threat to new entrants into the EV industry is medium. The threat of substitution is substantial due to the numerous alternatives to buying a fully electric vehicle. Currently, a fossil-fueled vehicle is a substitute for an EV. Generally, there is a high price of electricity for cars, meaning a change in price of one car maker can potentially lead to the increase in demand of another. Cars are not bought every few years, so consumers are willing to search for a car that satisfies their price range, style, options, and cost to operate, making the threat of substitute products of EV high. The number of recognized and influential brands is low, making competition very high. The EV market offers both above-average profits and a large projected demand in the next decade, making inter-firm rivalry high. Our Porter value chain analysis identifies Tesla's key internal systems and activities that deliver value to their customers. These value chain resources represent the competitive advantages used by Tesla to beat the competition. The support functions of its CEO's vision has created a highly technical and creative engineering team that creates superior designed electric vehicles with company-owned warehouses, factories, service centers, and charging stations. Its vertical integrated supply chain and a key strategic battery production alliance with Panasonic supports their best-selling electric vehicle in the world. Tesla employs its key resources to align a company strategy focused on research, production, expansion, efficiency, and customer loyalty. We have selected 3 auto companies making EV todays to represent three distinct competitive groups for Tesla. GM represents the traditional US car maker, Nissan represents the traditional automaker, and Porsche represents the premium sports car maker. Tesla outperforms all three of its competitors with the highest stock valuation of any car maker in the world. One of the major differences is that Tesla outspends its competitor almost 2-to-1 in R&D as a percentage of its net revenue. Tesla leads these competitors in gross margin and other performance metrics. The gross margins give insight into how efficient the cars are made. Tesla's higher valuation is based on its focus and lead in its growing EV market. The competitors are average profits because most of their business is in the traditional fossil-fueled vehicles. If stock prices reflect the embodiment of future performance, then Wall Street has crowned Tesla king of EVs, as reflected in their stellar stock performance and stock prices increasing in value over 500% last year. Tesla's revenue has doubled in 3 years, reflecting their management achievements toward production goals, matching their consumer demands for their stylish EVs. If debt-to-equity ratios indicate a stable level of capitalization, as its investments in new infrastructure has been rapidly increasing with new factories and models. Net income has been negative in recent years with deficits, but the trend has reversed in 2019, breaking even with a momentum of achieving positive net income in 2020. The firm's liquidity has improved from 2017 as reflected in their current and quick ratio, in which short-term liquid assets are now about equal to short-term liabilities. Overall, Tesla's financial position has improved in terms of the stock price, revenue, capitalization, and liquidity from 2017 to 2019. For traditional car makers like GM, its bureaucratic stable of divisions and brands make it difficult to master the new technologies required to keep pace in this rapidly evolving EV market. GM has entered the industry with the moderately priced Chevy Volt. However, with the languishing stock prices, it will be difficult to find the capital to restructure its legacy factories and invest in the transition for a broader entry into EVs more models. GM's strong brand represents a competitive advantage market along with its vast dealership network throughout the world, meaning Tesla is in a race to broaden its appeal across more consumer segments before GM finds a way to break out of its fossil fuel-based position. Every standard electric vehicle model directly competes with Tesla as an electric vehicle. Nissan is an established motor company with global brand recognition for quality and style. However, like GM, Nissan has legacy issues with its older, inefficient factories they are currently restructuring. Some issues include a sluggish home market in Japan, along with slowing worldwide car sales. Though Nissan has successfully launched their own moderately priced EV, the Nissan Leaf, as Tesla broadened its portfolio of models, it will compete head-to-head with their new EV, such as Ariya electric SUV. Porsche is a subsidiary of Volkswagen, one of the largest global car makers in the world, and has their financial resources for their operations. As such, the Porsche financials are not very enlightening about the competing threat to Tesla, except that it is another example that the auto industry is filled with well-capitalized global corporations with deep financial resources in direct competition with Tesla. Even though Porsche may not consider Tesla to be a direct rival, Tesla should look ahead and consider Porsche and its giant parent Volkswagen a direct competitor. Like Tesla, GM is expanding its EV model offerings that compete directly with Tesla's target market with its premium Cadillac brand and into large trucks with their Hummer. Further, GM says it is completing major investments in new EV production plants and battery technologies to compete with their all-electric EV vision for the future. GM has a joint venture with a Chinese battery firm to mass produce batteries to fulfill their supply chain to make more EVs, and it is collaborating with other partners to build their largest single network of charging stations through the US. GM recognizes that investing in EV is thinking ahead as gas-powered cars are being replaced with emerging EVs worldwide. As Tesla develops more models to target a large market, it will directly challenge GM with its presence in multi-customer segments based on income, work, and leisure vehicles. Tesla is a front-runner in the emerging EV segment of automobiles. There's no short supply of competitors between traditional car makers and new high-tech entrants. The legacy car makers such as GM and Nissan must balance the divestment of the gas engine with the investment required for EV technology. The high risk and rewards are multiplied because the tremendous capital investments as new factories cost billions of dollars each, and the source of batteries required intense R&D along with the development of new supply chains. Although car making is a global industry, politics, wealth, distribution, and physical infrastructure will challenge Tesla and its competitors. Tesla's strategy of global expansion in the US, Europe, and Asia is in progress. However, on each continent, the competitors are pushing back. Tesla can fast-track past its competitors by keeping up with the production and entering more of its expanding customer market segments. Market penetration in the premium sedan, sport car, and truck segments can buy Tesla into a strong favored customer brand that serves many tastes and budgets. Competitors have been building their EV capabilities, many including GM, Nissan, and Volkswagen, have collaborating with EV model carriers, battery suppliers, and charging stations. By placing its production in each of its top 3 global markets, Tesla is planning to match sales orders to production, a competitive advantage over other carriers. Elon Musk is a co-founder, chief executive officer, director, product architect, and unquestionably the primary driving force of Tesla Motors. Tesla has been known for its unusually high rate of executive management turnover through the years. It's not surprising that top management is filled with executives with engineering and high-tech backgrounds. Zachary Kirkham is the chief financial officer since 2019, has worked in financial positions within Tesla since 2010. Kirkham holds degrees in economics and mechanical engineering. Jerome Gillum is president of the automotive division since 2018 and has been at Tesla since 2007, previously holding various leadership roles. Gillum holds a PhD in mechanical engineering. Andrew Bellino assumed most of the duties of the departing Chief Technology Officer, but his title remains Senior Vice President of Powertrain and Energy Engineering. Ms. Bellino has been with the firm since 2006 and it is an engineer. It is projected that EV sales will exponentially grow as fossil fuel vehicles, in lieu of consumer and governmental demand for smart green transportation. No one knows how quickly this transition will take. Tesla's main business level strategy is a plan to rapidly expand its vertical integrated manufacturing capabilities by building mega factories. They already started one in China and have plans to do others in both Europe and the United States. With each mega factory costing billions of dollars and Tesla other liquidity needs, such as new car model development, supercharged station expansion, and the growth through more sales outlets around the world, evaluating operational expenses and maximizing their limited liquidity is crucial. Tesla needs a financial strategy to be able to pay for their ambition, goals, and growth. Next are the 3 important issues we have identified challenging Tesla as they implement their business strategy. Tesla governance is heavily dependent of its founder and CEO Elon Musk for its vision, direction, and identity. The firm has a history of turnover of their senior executive and key engineers. Corporate governance is important as stakeholders such as investors, lenders, and customers place great importance in the leadership of a growing firm. Musk's past record of being unpredictable and combative creates obstacles. Having one person with too much influence and control makes the firm susceptible to the fallibility of such individual. For Tesla is Musk. Firms that have a mature governance in place with executive decision-making and sharing powers leads to stability and is ultimately rewarded by such company stakeholders. Because Tesla is heavily relying on their one strong leader, succession plans should be created to protect the firm's future. Tesla's global strategy for both the manufacturing and sale of their products is heavily affected by government regulations. Some of the ways government regulation affect Tesla's global strategies are trade wars between nations, such as the ones between China and the US, threatening Tesla's supply chain and the access to their customer market. Likewise, trade agreements and tariffs are subject to sudden changes interfering with years of planning. US tax credits for EV sales are either expiring or not being renewed. This was a government subsidy contributed to the improved car sales in Tesla's largest market, the US. Certain state jurisdictions have also adopted laws that prevent Tesla from developing its direct sales model, requiring a dealership-level sales channel. Both local and global regulations affect Tesla's strategic growth plan, and some countries like China have established minimal EV production quotas for car manufacturers. Government regulations on the global, national, and local levels affect productions and sales for Tesla. Also, regulations of emission levels at the state levels in the United States and abroad are inconsistent, disrupting the growth of EVs. Cash is the bloodline of any business. It comes from the capital markets, debt offerings, and net operating results. Financial resources include a firm's capacity to borrow, as well as its ability to generate funds through internal operations. Demands for cash from deficit operations, capital expenditures, R&D, and debt is threatening the long-term viability of Tesla. Tesla risks falling behind the competition of well-backed competitors in the future innovation. A combination of slow worldwide sales from the pandemic, as well as a general fall in global auto sales, will impact available cash. With significant debt maturing soon, cash will be needed for repayment if debt is not reissued. A steady decline trend in gross margin is also contributing to threaten the health of Tesla's cash flow. A lack of sufficient short-term financing will negatively impact Tesla's long-term growth plans. They cut prices on new models in the past year to spark sales, but without cash flow at the right time in the right places, Tesla has the potential to become a distressed credit and restructuring tragedy instead of a successful innovator and growth story. Partnerships to share capital assets can stretch limited available cash reserves. Tesla's strategy to vertically integrate the firm by owning the supply chain is costly. Mega factories cost billions of dollars, and currently Tesla does not have enough liquid assets in order to achieve it. Tesla has partnered with Panasonic for its battery supply chain. A manufacturing partnership with a car dealership could relieve enough capital requirement for the firm's expansion program. Tesla can also consider partnering with another EV firm to create factories for their assembly and battery production plants, a strategic alliance where both firms share the risk and resources required to enter the international markets. Specifically, since China is a large target market in an unstable political environment, Tesla would gain the dual advantage of cost sharing and political cover by forming an alliance with a Chinese-based manufacturer for future megafactories. Tesla's leadership in innovation must maintain. Thus, short-term cash needs should not interfere with the pursuit of long-term technological gains. If Tesla does not maintain their edge and continue achieving technological advancements in EV, they can give way for competitors to catch up and become cost followers in its place. Instead, Tesla should maintain their business-level strategy, a differentiator with superior technology. R&D requires a significant amount of discretionary cash. Based on company filing, in the past 3 years, their R&D was as high as 12% of net revenues. Based on our analysis, we recommend that R&D be maintained at a minimum fixed level rather than a percentage of net revenues. Since sales are increasing each year, Tesla does not need to link R&D as a percentage of sales. Instead, they should budget at 2019 levels as it continues to grow. This strategy reduces the growing demand on cash and at the same time maintain its first mover position, a first mover's gain market share that can be difficult for companies to take during further competitive rivalry. Recently, industry analysts noted Tesla's tactic to reduce their retail price on all their models except for their Model Y. It was stated that the reason for the price adjustment was to increase sales as a response to competition. But based on our analysis, we recommend that Tesla maintains its differentiating segment strategy and not compete on price. Many industry experts and customers recognize that the stylish Tesla models demands above market pricing for its innovation and performance. Tesla must be confident of the reputation and customer loyalty, which is reflected on the long list of backlog customers. In short, the goal is to strategically maintain retail pricing and increase unit productivity while maintaining an air of exclusivity that other EV markets do not share in the midst of customers. It's too early in the industry life cycle to commoditize Tesla's value proposition, which goes way beyond basic transportation, instead of steeped in product and service quality dimensions. Customers will continue to buy a product they believe satisfy their base level expectations in terms of the quality dimensions that are important to them, because such base level expectations are not dependent on price. Tesla can confidently avoid price as their focus and instrument to drive sales. Thank you for your time and attention. Respectfully yours, Joanna and Chris.